Hello, good morning, and happy Wednesday, halfway through the week. Make sure, okay, mic sounds good, mic looks good, video looks good. Hello, Esitsu, hello, Albert, how are you doing today? All right, let me put that over to the side so I can look at OBS too. And there we go. How are you all doing today? How's your week been? We are working on creating the post with and actually sending it to our backend. And I believe our backend is actually running right now. Yeah, so it's running. It's running. We're good to go. So let's see. We haven't really done much with this yet. We certainly haven't even called create post also. So that's a thing. Rasmigo, hello. How are you doing today? You made a pod bot. You got to the Silver League. Congratulations. Awesome. One more league to go, and then we can have our bots fight. I guess race. They don't really fight. Okay, so we have our so GlueNet HTTP request post. Okay, so we add in where we're going. So we get our API URI or URL from the environment variable. Oh, Zilby. If you lay down, you have a better vision, but Zilby's here. We add in our data, which is going to be this create post that we create. We unwrap that. Now we probably don't really want to unwrap this. I probably want to I want to handle an error here, and basically like do something to say like, hey, there's some kind of problem that happened. Now, do I want to overwrite the error and basically say like, hey, something happened here? Maybe. I could question mark this and make whatever calls this deal with it. Which that might be a good idea. So in that case, to use a question mark, I need an error handling library. I'm going to choose error because that's my error handling library of choice. I guess with this, I should just quit. Now, I don't necessarily know what I'm going to return yet. So that's going to be a thing. Also, why can't you find this result? That seems... Oh, right. Yeah, maybe I did it too early. There it goes. That's what I wanted. Okay, so we now have so we have a request. We add in a JSON. We don't need any headers, I believe, so then we can just send this. We're gonna have to await, and I believe question mark you again. So now I have a response, and I want to convert the response into... We want to see what we get back. Now, we have in Rapid API, we have the create response that we're sort of assuming that we get back. So in create post, we get back just an object with the ID. Like that's all we're getting back with this. So let's create another struct. So you're an I think it's an I-32, if I remember correctly. You have to be there. Now this case, it's gonna be, we need to deserialize this one. So let's see, we're gonna get JSON, and now we're gonna turn that into, oh, we have to tell it what it's gonna be. Okay, so we get the create post response. You're upset. Oh, do I need to do this in JSON? Then we have to await you. And then question mark you. There we go. And so now we have our create post. We have our create post response, and I want to. What do I want to do with this? We can just log it out to make sure that we got it. We can put it all together into a post, and pass it back. That might make the most sense. Now we have the text already, but I kind of like the idea of just getting it all, like putting it together. So if we have a post, which is going to have an ID of I-32 and a text, a string, let's derive debug. We're going to create this and then return with it. So our ID is going to be this new result.id, and our text is going to be the post text. Oh, and you can be an attribute value. So attribute value, so we can, let's see, so we toString this. I wonder if that consumes it or not. Okay, so far so good. And then we want to return, oh, that's not going to work. Now we're going to return a post. Okay. Okay, post. Oh, not an uppercase post. Just a lowercase post like that. All right, so that should now give us back you. You're not being read anywhere, and that's fine. So then back in the page, so in the home page, this is where, so on create post, okay, this is where we're gonna have to do it. So this is where it gets interesting. We have this post, the text to create. and we want to send this back to our back end. But that's going to be asynchronous, and we don't have an async block here. I don't have like an async callback. There's some things we can do, but the easiest way that I've ever seen is the wasm bindgen futures crate. Which we don't need anything else, which is nice. So what we can do is we can create a block in here. So we're going to do a wasm or you're unhappy. What's going on? There we go. Wasm bindgen futures. I want to spawn local, and it takes in a see, is that what I want? I want to spawn local. How did I do this before? It's not been long enough that I'm. Let's see, I don't think it. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was spawn local. So we're gonna have to move our thing in here. Oh, and you're gonna have to be a async. So I think it's async. I can't remember if it was a block or a closure that this used. See, what is it yelling at me about? Okay, no, it is expecting that. Oh, and I can't use... Oh, the order of move and async is incorrect. Okay. Async move. Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, so it is a block. So it's not a closure, so I don't have the bars for that. It's just going to be an async block. We are going to move that post into it so that we can then call. So we're going to do we want the created post. So it's going to be equal to, so I want access to our API. We're going to create post. We need the post text. We're going to await. We can handle the error here. So I could unwrap it, or I can do something else with that. I'm going to, probably I want to grab it. So we're going to match you. So if we have okay, we have a post, and I just want to send that back. If it's an error, I want to do a couple things to it. So first I want to just log this out. So we're going to do a glue console error log. And we're going to say error, error creating post. Now, I don't think I can actually pass error back like this. Yeah, it's saying like, hey, it doesn't know what to do with this. So I think I can toString this. That'll get the message out. Oh, and then I need I'm returning a post here, so I need to do an early return and basically exit out. So I just need to return nothing. So now I have this created post. And what do we want to do with it? I guess right now we'll print it out. And we can say this is the created post. And then you don't know what to do with like to turn into something JS, so we need to turn to a string, but I can format it. Oh wait, no, that's not. I don't need to do that. I can do post, format it like that. Oh, created post, not. Okay, so now when we create the post, we should get a log down here of the post that got created. So hello, first post. Oh, cross origin. Okay, we need to fix that. So cross origins are fun. I forgot that these are separate deployments, and so therefore we're going to run into CORS errors. So that's fun. We need to take a little adventure over to the Axum backend and update this. So we are going to, where do I want to put this? Probably in the main router. Here's our posts. So for all of these posts, I want CORS to be available. There's a CORS tower middleware that we can use. Epic, hello. How are you doing today? You have a question based entirely in ignorance. What's the difference between Yew and Leptos? Do they aim to solve the same problem? It depends upon how far we zoom out with it. So like they both aim to create front end, essentially single page applications. So basically web pages, websites, web applications. Maybe that's a little bit better way of saying it. They aim to do it in different ways. So Yew is primarily focused with being very similar to React. So that's literally one of the goals of the project. That makes it easier to come in if you already know React. But the other thing is it also solves the same problems that React does in the same ways, which is you have a single page application that does front end rendering all on the client side. So in the end, with something like Yew, you don't really need a beefy backend. For example, my LMS that I have, that's built in Yew, and that is my backend for that is an S3 bucket with a CloudFront front end. That's it. It's I have a little bit of caching with the CDN and then like S3. I don't need any logic. I don't need anything special with that. It just works the way it just works, and it's really fast. With Leptos, the idea is that you might have a lot more, like you could do that, but you could also do this thing where you have like HTML that's being rendered on a backend and being sent to the front end and then just injected into the DOM. And that's not like, that's possible to do in Yew, but it's not really the primary purpose of it. So like Leptos makes that a little easier if you want to go with that pattern. But that does mean you need a little bit beefier backend now. You can't just have a static server. And then the other thing is Leptos is rendering in a different way. So Yew is doing shadow DOM and Leptos is not. They're doing just native manipulation, and they're using signals for that. So multiple ways to get the same thing. Leptos, therefore, is faster. Virtual DOM. Okay, thank you for that. I was like thinking like, was that correct? Is that like, because I remember Shadow DOM came out and then Virtual DOM came out, and then I just got confused because I don't remember who uses which anymore. And I think Virtual DOM is the only one that we all use. Shadow DOM was the one that was made before Virtual DOM existed, right? To solve that problem. Yeah, okay, Virtual DOM. Also, hello, good morning. So basically, you uses the Virtual DOM. Virtual DOM is, it's interesting because if I say it's slow, it might give the wrong impression out. It's as slow as React for a lot of the updates because of that, but it's still only like updating like one or two things. It basically just needs to keep a copy of like what the state is on the front end and sort of like figure out the tree and do all those calculations itself. Whereas Leptos doesn't do that at all. It just says, hey, this one thing, just go and update, and it just does, and it's good. So to summarize, they're in the same space, web application development. They're both front end. They're both primary, like, meant for front end. One requires a little bit beefier of a back end if you're going to use all those sort of like the fun injection tools from the back end. That would be Leptos. Leptos is faster on the front end side of it, and Yew is easier to get into if you already know React. And there's other things we can chat about too, but I don't know how helpful that is beyond there. Awesome. Yeah. The creator of Leptos also created a really awesome video a while back about speed and front end, and gave some ideas to the Yew team. Actually, I think like sent over some things in their Discord, basically saying like, hey, look, here's like what we're doing, and if you do the same thing, you're going to increase your speed quite a bit. So there's a lot of hope that once Yew gets to like a 1.0 state and they've solidified their API, they might be able to focus on speed. And right now, Yew is slightly faster than React and the other non-Rust based web applications. If they implement some speed increases, that could make it really compelling speed wise. Okay, so we have Nest, we have layer. Oh, right. We want tower stuff. So we need to go search for tower cores. I think there's a link to a cores library from Axum's crates. Supercuber, hello, how are you doing today? Let's see, so we want middleware, commonly used middleware, cores layer. Okay, yeah, here it is. Module tower HTTP cores. So I want tower HTTP with featured cores. I'm not happy that it just doesn't show, like that's 45. That's not too bad. That wouldn't, I don't even know if that would fill up the entire screen. I think I have like 80 down or so. Maybe more. Okay, cores active. So let's go find this and add Yew in. Now, I just want it with... Now, I could just add the cores in for just the nest, or I could add it in for everything. Oh, Tower HTTP. Wait a second. Did I... Ooh, I lost trace? Yeah, okay. Wait a second. If I do trace like this... Oh, it's because I did underscore versus dash. It tracked them differently? Interesting. But now it has them all, so that's happy. Okay. Okay, so you're happy there. I want to... I don't know if it really matters that much. I'm just going to put a layer. We're going to do a route layer for this one, so it's everything that matches. And then we need to go find out how this works. So layer cores. Okay, so we're going to do a cores layer new. Cores layer new. Allow credentials. We don't allow credentials right now. Allow headers. I don't think so. Everything in cores is denied by default. So I just get to choose which methods we want. Okay, so methods, we have several methods we want. So in this case, method get. So what method? So I want to get method post. I think it's a patch, so delete and patch, and that's all I'm going to allow. Okay, allow origin. So where do I want to put this? And oh, they choose any, which is fine. We can just do any. Where do they get that from? Tower HTTP cores. Okay, so we have any, but I could also represents a wildcard value. So yeah, I could choose any. What? Oh, allow origin. So I could just go with this too. Something like that. And then multiple origins can be that as well. Okay. So if we do for you an array, HTTP, localhost, port, I want to say 8080. Okay, so we get cores, and then we're going to add this in here. Okay, so what this is going to do. Radhika, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so you restarted. So then what I want to do is come back to here and just submit this again. Oh, it didn't work. Do I need to refresh you? Ah, okay, so let's see. Do I need to allow options? Request block, the same origin policy disallows read and remote resource at this. Origin is my website, right? And I am on, yeah, I am on 8080. Oh, and there's something like maybe localhost isn't allowed even. I don't remember anymore. Need options for not simple requests like post. Yeah, so okay, we need to add an option. Let's add an options. Let's try that again. That didn't like that one. Yeah, okay, so it's not liking option. Oh, is this gonna have to be a layer and not a route layer because it's not going to one of my routes? It's going to their route first. Okay, so it's okay with the options. So same origin policy disallows remote resource at there. Oh, header content type. Oh, so I do need headers. Okay. All right, so header content type. So allow headers, and then this can be okay, HTTP headers that we're allowing in. Perfect. Okay, so allow headers. You are oh, wait, this is re-exported. HTTP header. Okay, and then I can get all these. So I want content type. Okay, content type is up there, and so each time we do this, we can now try it again, and then this should go away. 404 not found. Excellent. Okay, so we're doing better. Now I just sent a post to slash here, which is not great. I need to update our front end to go to the correct URL. So it's this is the root URL really. So like the API root, or maybe just API URL is a stir that's equal to this. So this URL is going to be kind of format. We're going to start with the API URL, and then we're going to add in API v1 posts, and that we're going to send it. You need options for not simple requests like post. Yeah, okay. It's been a while since I looked into that. You could use this for an easy CORS offsetting. Yeah, I could also just do an any, and that would work too. I feel like not very many tutorials out there, or like not very many like follow alongs will actually show how to do CORS that only limit like to the things that you're using, right? So I figured like this could be that. All right, so you're happy. Let's now see if this works. Okay, so you went to pose. We got a 400 bad request. We have response headers. Our response is, oh, your post must have at least one character, which, okay, so we sent an empty post. Well, that's not great. Oh, okay. I didn't notice that I needed something refreshed and I needed to, oh, I resaved. So that's what it was. There it goes. Okay, so we created a post. Here it is. Okay, so that's working. So this is in its own component. It creates a post. Perfect. Okay, so everything is good now. If I want to make this go away after I'm done with this, we're gonna need to play a little shenanigan game with the state. So basically, I need to make this on all input and go into a I probably need to create another component just for the text area and stuff that in there. So let's do that real quickly. Am I doing this again? I've like opened it up twice in different Helix things. I'm just gonna like not use that. Okay, so let's go into components. Let's create a text area. What do we need from this? I almost feel that I can just take what we have from the form. So we have the create post here. If I just grab you, we paste you in, and then we'll just sort of go from this. So on this case, for a text area, it's not going to be on create post. I need you to emit out on change, like every time that there's some change. And then that can be an attribute value. That'll be fine. We have a styled. Okay, so this will be our VB text area. You take in the props. I don't see what we need with styling. I'm not completely convinced we need anything. We will need state though, won't we? So this is going to be when we first start, when the component first loads, we want to initialize to, okay, we want a value. It's going to be an attribute value. I want to create and set, let's see, this value, attribute value is attribute value. So we have, this is going to be let the, this is going to be like the text area value. I'm not getting any help here because I have errors elsewhere. Module not found. Oh, because I called it text area altogether. That's why. Now we're getting help. Okay. What are you upset about? Right, it's default. We're not going to have an on submit. We will have an on change though. I won't necessarily have these. Let's not worry about that right now. And then you're gonna be some other event. And we'll see what you are. Let's not deal with that. Okay, so I don't want the form, I don't want the title, I just want the text area. And then I want this to be an on input. Okay, this is gonna be an input event. WebSys input event? Shouldn't this be like a Yew input event? Yeah, a Yew input event. Okay, so we get that. Now what I want to be able to do is extract out what, I guess like what changed. But we can get the full value of this, can't we? We want then, get the target. I want to convert that target to the appropriate things. This is going to be an unchecked into. Wait, are you a... Okay, unwrap. Unchecked into... You are an HTML text area input. Okay, so once we have that, I'm gonna get our value. Okay, so we have the value now, and I want to stuff that into here so that every time, let's see, how do I want to do this? Every time this changes, we do an input, we're going to call our on change. We're going to emit out this one. So far, I know I'm going to need that eventually. Let's do one thing at a time then. This is going to be the props on change. We're going to move that into here, and then we're going to do a props on change. We're going to emit the value, and we're going to convert that into a attribute value. Yew input event is just a re-exported WebSys input event, so Rust handlers will give you the original source since you have both crates. Oh yeah, that's true. I wonder if it would have worked with that one, or if like the versions are slightly different, and that could cause problems. Okay, so now this input, now this emits out. So let's go take a look at this. And also I want to change this. This is okay with being on change. This, however, needs to be on input. And then we'll just use that on input there. Instead, okay, on change. Now this is being used on the form, right? So on the create post here, I want to stop using you and start using the other text area. So we want BB text area, which of course you can't find. And then we need the on change. So here's this text area on change. Because we put this as an option on the other one, I can just start trying to use this down here. But I guess we can create a new one, so we can sort of see the two of them being used together. So this is the BB text area change. We're eventually going to have a move on it. We're going to eventually do fun stuff, but this is going to be the, I guess, like what the text area is going to be. So what is this? This is going to be the post. This is like the I guess we can just call it the post. Maybe the post text. And then we could probably just glue console log this. And you are going to be the post text to string. Oh, you don't know what you are. So this text area, let's do an on change equals BB text area change. Why is that yelling at me that it's not being used? I'm using this here. Okay. Let's find out if I did this correctly. I did not. I should be seeing two text areas. I'm seeing this text area, but not this one. I try to put your on change on here. That's working. Do I have another error? No other errors. BB text area on change. Yeah, you're right there. What did I do wrong? Let's see. So we have that text area. Now, if I just remove you. Oh, I put it. That's what I put it in between as a child. Okay. Okay, this is the new one. So if I just type into Yew, we now get, this is what that is. And I can even like delete it out. We can just change it out. Okay, so we now have all of that. And so if I submit this post, I want to, we now want to update our new post text every time that this is updated too. So we have new post text. Just want to grab Yew. Move Yew in here, and then we're going to new post text. We're going to set Yew to be, and then we just have this as an attribute value already, so this will be the post text. So a little bit simpler. So that's great. And then now I should be able to do that and submit the post, and there it goes. Okay, now this still doesn't go away. So now I want to, once that happens, I want to now set this new text post, new post text, to be nothing, and then add this in here as a value. So I want to be able to say, okay, value equals a dereferenced new post text. You don't have that in here, so we need to update you to have a value. Value is going to be an attribute value. And then for this text area, we want to say value equals props.value and clone you. Cannot move out of Yew? Of course not. So let's do, we'll deref Yew and then clone you. Or do I clone then deref? Yeah, okay. Deref then clone. Okay, so now if everything should still work as expected. Okay. Now we're not doing anything yet with this. So now I want to, when we post this, so on submit, after we emit out, okay, so this is all good. This is all good. So on submit, so we emit out that we submitted right here. And then I also want to now do our new post text. And we want to set this to be an attribute value defaults. All right, let's see what happens here. I'm thinking this is not going to work the way we expect it to, but that'll be fine. All right. That actually worked exactly the way I wanted it to. I was expecting we're going to have to use effect, but okay. I guess we're not going that complex with it yet, so we're good to go. Stacking, hello. How are you doing today? Okay, so that is now emptying out. So this field is emptying out. We're submitting the post. We're getting back an actual post that that we've created. So that's all good. Which means we can go to our README and we can say we want to create a post. I guess technically we are, because it's being created in the database, because the API is telling us that we've done it. So that's good. Let's clean up, because there's a bunch of stuff here that we need to deal with. Okay, so these aren't being read. We're not doing anything with them yet at this point in time, and that's probably okay. Now I am taking this post and I'm printing it out. I'm kind of surprised it's not marking that as being read. Okay, this text area on change, we're not using this anymore, so let's just get rid of you. We're not using you, and we're not using most of you. We're not using this event or the submit event. We're not using this use state or any of that. Okay, so the only thing that's complaining about is this post not being read. And if we go to our home page, we are, okay, so we have created post. How about this? We'll do created post with ID of that and text of that. Don't need to do that. Now we're going to do a created post ID and created post text. Are you going to yell at me because you're not? Oh, you're not public. That's the problem. The trait. Okay, so now we have another issue. Glue console log. Okay, so we have this. Oh, this is not how it works. I keep on forgetting that console log is not a normal like Rust format print line type thing. It's just print out the things. Oh, the ID is a number, but the text, it doesn't know what to do with this. So this is going to be toString. And now we're happy here. We have no errors, no warnings. And so if we create a new post, there it is. So with ID 26 and text that. Excellent. Okay. We can git commit this. All right, so what do we do here? We are able to create a post, so can create a post. And I'll go ahead and push that up. And then the other thing that I don't want to forget about is we updated this to add in cores. So added cores to allow localhost to use the API. And we'll push that up too. All right, we got time. Let's continue on. As a user, I want to see all my posts. Okay, so what does that mean? Now in the post we have we don't have much data. We have pretty much the ID of it, which we don't necessarily want to show, and the text of it. So that's pretty much what we're going to be working with. Let's create a component for a single post because that's going to be reused over and over and over again, isn't it? So I'm thinking just down below here, we can maybe have like another title for all the posts. So this will be on the home page. So we have our main title, we have the create post. We could have like an all posts section for that. I don't really know how necessary that is. It might be helpful to sort of like spread this out. Let's do that. Let's create a component for all the posts. So this is going to go into source, components, We'll call this all posts. Okay, we want probably just a normal function component. I don't think we need any properties, so we're fine here. And I guess we'll start with the title, right? So it's gonna be BB title. We know with the BB title, we also need a level. This must be a 2 because we already have a 1 in the web app. And this is going to be, I guess we'll just call this all like posts. So your basic start to this, we're going to head back to home and add you in here. So this is going to be what? All posts. You're unhappy. What are you unhappy about? All posts. Unresolved import. I needed to save all. That's what it was. Bigger problems. Okay, so you apparently didn't actually import. That's cool. That makes you happy. Everything is compiling. And so if we come back to here we go. So here's all of our posts. Or at least here's the component where all the posts are going to go. So now we need a single post, which is probably just going to have just the text in it. So let's create a new component for that. So we're going to put source components. Let's call this just like one post. Maybe we'll call it one post. All right, I'll write it out before I forget. This is probably going to be a styled component, but who knows? Maybe we won't. So usually I just start with function component, and then if I need to, changing out to styled component is pretty easy. So this is going to be a BB post, or we can just call this like one post. To be consistent, I'll call this a BB post. I am probably going to want to take in what that post is. So we're going to need props. Oh, I've wrecked it all. The LSP is not helping me out anymore. Okay, so partial equal and clone, I believe. So I guess we'll just do like a little like post here. So we'll just do like a p tag, and we'll just say, I am a post. Okay. If I write everything, you're not giving me any help. Restart LSP, please. Tell me what all the problems are. Oh, you can't even do that. Oh, wait. Okay, you can do that. Cool, it was frozen. That's what happened. All right, so import you, import you, import you. Okay, so you're happy. We're gonna head back to all posts. So we start with this title. Now we can just go ahead and make this a fragment, or we can say like maybe this is like the main area. So we can actually put this, we can use like a main tag for this and throw this in there. We haven't used main yet, and it is a good idea for every app to have one main. Then under here, we're going to have a, let's just do a single post for right now because that's all we have. Did I not? Oh, the properties don't have anything in it. So here it is. I am a post. There we go. Okay, great. We have a post. Wonderful. So I'm probably going to want to style this a little bit. Maybe have like, you know, a little box around it. So let's switch this out for the styled component. Let's have our, let our style, I'm gonna use our style macro. And then you are, okay, what are we gonna put in here? We want, for this tag, I probably want a, maybe like a little border around it. Let's do like a border, which will be maybe like, we could do, to make sure it's visible for all of you, let's do like 3 pixels, like solid. Now if I do white, I think that might, let's make this like blue. We have that style, and then I want to add the class onto here. So class equals the style. You're upset. Oh, border that. Missed the colon. Okay. So if we come back to here, that blue is terrible looking. I don't like it. Let's put this over here and our code on the left so we can take a look at it. And then I will full screen this code part of it. Okay, so I want to make that a little bit better looking. There's like a sky blue. That might be better. Yeah, that's a little bit easier to look at. Okay, I want some like room inside between the borders and there, so that's gonna be a padding. Let's do a padding of like, I don't know, 2 rem. I'll do the padding all the way around it. Okay, that's good. We don't have any users or anything else. We just have the post itself, and that's it. So this is what we've got. We will have the ability to like posts, and then to see the number of what is it called? The number of like likes and something else. So I might want to put that in here as part of like this we'll probably have to have a fragment. What am I thinking of? So I have a p tag, and then we can put our likes, and then we can put something else here. So if I just do something really simple, like we have like another p tag with do we have a heart? I did not want to make you full size. What's the... Nope, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. What's the thing to search for emoji? There's a way to do that. And then I can just throw in this. And I forget exactly what that is. The Molroy! Thank you for the raid. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? And how's your stream? Plink Cypher, hello. And Nix Flex. My guess is that you were using OCaml. Doing well, stream was great. Nice. Excellent. And Ryan Winchester, hello. Safe guess, yeah. I saw that you were online last night with CM Griffin too, doing some OCaml as well. Nixon Metame, hello. Always playing it safe. Well, here. Sometimes I play it safe. Sometimes it's easy to guess. Anyways, I assume everything was going good and all your days are going great. We are working on a sort of like a fun little project here. It's creating an X Twitter clone. We previously did everything with Axum, so we created the back end. Today we're working on the front end. So this is what we've got so far. We have our we have like a title. We have a little area for creating a post. We are using Rust for this. So everything here is written in Rust. We have not written a single line of JavaScript, but we have interactivity like we have written JavaScript. So that's always fun. A lot of WebAssembly. We're using Yew as our front end framework, which is very similar to React. So if you're familiar with React, there's a lot of things here. You're like, hey, that's like Rust, but also weird. The distant child of OCaml. Yeah, we're would it be child of OCaml or would this be like just a weird cousin? Following for the Node.js. Sometimes I do JS when I have to, but I do that during my day job. So I do a lot of not day job stuff here to get away from it. Oh, right. Rust was originally written in OCaml. I forgot that. Until eventually they were able to bootstrap and self compile. That is right. I forgot about that. So that is true. Where they have an ancestry. JS is good for what it's meant for. Use live view. Yeah, I mean JS is really good for what it's meant for, and like it's great to like get people to do stuff and like be productive, but also, hey, you know, we don't have to use JS anymore. So therefore we should play around with it, right? All right, so currently I am working on this post component. So this is what a component looks like. If you're familiar with React, this should actually feel fairly similar. So basically I have a struct where I'm defining what the properties are going to come in as. We get all the benefits of Rust. So all the very strong type system stuff that we want, we're going to get. I'm using this as a styled component, which means I get to create my CSS inline inside. Well, I guess not. I shouldn't use the word inline because that means something, and that's not what this is. Unfollow for the yes React. Sorry. But here's my counter argument. If you know React and you want to get away from JavaScript, but you don't have to learn like multiple things at the same time, then this allows you to basically use those skills and then go into something that's not JavaScript. That's my counterpoint. Okay, so we're able to create our stylings in here, and then I just add that into a style here. What's nice, Rust doesn't have class keywords, so I can just use class. So it's basically like JSX, but better, in my opinion. Now I do have to have these brackets wherever I'm trying to use text, because also the macro is is not as nice as JSX in that way, where I can just write everything that's exactly like HTML. There are HTML macros in Rust that don't require this. The U1 does, though. And then this is where this exists. I have this as a fragment, which allows me to basically have multiple root level things in here, and that's fine. I probably want to actually put this as like a div now, though, or a section maybe, and then add this class to it. That way, this p tag will now be around the outside of here. So if I do something like, we have likes, you're upset. Why are you upset? This has no corresponding, oh, because I didn't close that correctly. There we go. Now we have likes in there. And so I can, if I put like, hey, you have like 15 likes, 156 likes. There we go. That shows up there like that. And so we can update this to be more dynamic for us. Oh, leptos is just one direct string. Okay, I didn't really look into their HTML macro very much, but it feels nicer in leptos, but I do get a little bit more checking. Like if I do illegal HTML, it's going to yell at me, and it's going to tell me exactly what the problem is, which is also nice. Okay, so if I have likes, and then I probably want children too, so we can have responses. We can just do, there's no responses in this, so like this will not necessarily the best design for this, but it's a thing. Random play, hello, how are you doing today? Now what I want to do is I want to take in a post in here, so I want to know post. We will take in what this post is. We know what this is now. This is yelling at me because oh, so post is going to need to partial equal and clone, so we can do that. There is a lot of cloning in Yew. Okay, so if I take in a post, now I want to replace this with the text. So this will be the prop set post, which I can't move it out of there, so I have to clone you. Oh, I need to actually pull in the props, don't I? Okay, to jbound to HTML is not satisfied. Props to post, oh, dot text. So I care about the text coming out. That's great. This text is an attribute value, which is basically a wrapper around a string, which is a smart pointer. So it's cheap to clone. For the likes here, this can be the post dot. We'll need the likes on there, shouldn't we? So let's update you to have, ooh, we don't have the likes on this, do we? This is just the post that's been created. Yeah, we'll need to deal with this later. So let's actually change this up. We'll do the text as an attribute value. We have likes. That'll be a Yew let's just say that you're not allowed to have more than 255 likes. Like, nobody's gonna like things more than that, right? We don't have that many users. Obviously you can set this to be whatever you want. I think I can also set that to be an attribute value as well, and that would just be fine. And then, so likes, and then responses. So like this will be the response count, which sure, you'll be another U8. I might want to make this, I think they're I32s coming from the database, so I might want to turn this into like something similar to that. So let's see. Now you'll be props text, you'll be props likes, and you'll be props dot response count. Now you're upset because when I'm trying to use this post, we don't have a post to use. So let's see, I need to get one. We don't have one in this component, do we? So this is the all posts component, and now I could take in all the different posts, right? Like as a property, because in the home page, here's where the all posts is being used. Now I create a post here inside of there though, and that actually goes and does the API request for it. So I get the post back at this point in time. I need to somehow like get that out of that component and pass it in here, which to me, once we're starting to talk about, okay, I need to like pass it to like sibling components, I need to pass it around, I need lots of data going around. To me, this sort of feels like now I need a centralized state library, which just by saying that, do I just like lose all of you all now? Like, it's like, okay, we're doing state. You all now have to unfollow and run screaming. Let's see. So my current favorite library to use for this, and let's see whether or not it works with the latest version of Yew, because I haven't looked at it yet, is Yewdux, which is obviously a play on Redux, name-wise, but it's really nice to use. I like it. So let's try it out. Let's see what happens. I don't think we're going to need any features for this. Okay, so I want to, where do I want to go to put this? I need a store. Let's actually go and take a look to see if anything's changed in the documentation. So basically my store is going to look like this. We just need, okay, so it's going to need to derive a store. And then default clone partial equal and equal. That's fun. But then it can just be whatever struct we want. All right, so let's put documentation. You go to the right, code you go on the left. Let's create a new file, which I'm gonna just call store. You can have multiple stores, so if you have a large enough application that has like multiple domains and stuff, and you feel like you want to like have a really complicated store with like sub parts to it, just try having 2 stores. That's a lot easier to deal with. Okay, so I could just bring in the prelude, and that would be easier, but also we can just I need a pub struct. I I usually like to do this as like not just call it state, because so many other things call things state. So I'm gonna call this app state. This is going to be centralized to all of this application, but in the past I've done things like auth state, or like, you know, this could be like all the post state. That's all we're going to have here. So I'm just going to call this app state. All right, so we need default. Let's also put in debug in case we want to print this out. We need clone, and partial equal, and store. Now we need to figure out, like, we need to throw in posts here, right? So let's do a pub struct. This will be a post for this. We know that a post has an ID. That's going to be an I32, and we know a post has some text, which is a attribute value. We know that a post has likes, which is a I32, I think. And we finally have, let's see, so ID, text, likes, and response count. Now we have response count, and then potentially the just responses. So I'm not really sure which one we want to do fully yet. I think it's going to be response count of an I32, and then a responses, like responses would just be other posts. That gets dangerous, doesn't it? Because that's a self-referential. I guess, like, is it self? No, I'm not referencing itself. I'm referencing other posts. So I can maybe do like responses, which is going to be a vec of more posts. And I want here, we want all posts is going to be a vector. I'm okay with vector right now. If we figure out some other data structure for this, we can switch that. And that's going to be a vector post. Post doesn't implement. Okay, so we need you to implement all these things except for store. Okay, you are upset. BB post. Okay, yeah, so you're still upset because it's not returning a post. So to get a post, what do we want to do for this? We want to, well, I have this store now. I want to probably get all the posts that we have from the store and just stuff it in there. Now I could create like a test post right now. So maybe let's do this. So let's do just a test post equals, I want to use the post from the store. The one negative thing about this is that it's yelling at me for like, hey, you're missing all this stuff. You want an ID, let's just say you're one. We have a text, which is attribute value from hello, not a real post. We have likes, so likes, that's going to be 0. We have response count, it's going to be 0. And we have responses, which is going to be an empty vector. Okay, and I want to pass in the post is going to equal to a test post. It's going to yell at me because that's not the right one to use. So we'll need to go to one post and switch. Oh, I can actually switch this out now. We know what this is. So this is the post. I want this to be a post like that. Okay, so we want the text. Okay, so we have our that's happy. Wait, wrong keyword. Okay, so post field of post is one post is private. You need to be a public. Okay, so you're happy now. If we come back to here, we can see, okay. Hello, not a real post. That's what happens when I have all those weird errors showing up and I can't do anything about it. That is so far the worst thing that's happened to us with Helix, and I'm not super happy about that. I wonder if there's a way for me to turn off the errors showing up if the window is not huge, because that kind of sucks. But okay, so there we go. Hello, not a real post. We have no likes and no responses, and obviously we can change this around. Now, what we want to do is at the very beginning of the application, we want to load all of the posts and then push that up. So let's see. We have a couple choices between here. So we first want to, I guess what we could do is we can just push the post in when we create it. We can push this and we can create this post and we can set it up. Random play, hello. How are you doing today? Yeah, let's do that. So in our create post, here's our unsubmit handler. It's going and it's emitting this, and then we're setting this to be like, okay, empty out the field. We have the new post. We have the new post text. On create post emit. Wait, is this the right one? No, we want to go to home. Here it is. Okay, so here's the created post. The created post is the API post type. And all we have is the ID and the text, which is fine. Everything else, like there's no responses to it. Everything else is okay with that. So in that case, I want to create a new post. Let's actually go back to our store and import like a new. We're going to want the ID, which is an I32, and we're going to want the text, which is an attribute value. We're going to want to return a self. Okay, we're going to do self. We have our ID, we have our text. We can set these to be what we know is default. Response count is 0, and then responses is an empty vector. Okay, so here's the post itself. So we create the post. We're not using that right now. We can fix that. I want let a like the store post, which I don't need this post anymore after we send this on along. In fact, I've given ownership of it away. So now I want a new post. So we're going to shadow that. We're going to use a post from a store post. We need just the I32. So I want the created post ID and the created post text. Okay, so we have this. I want to now add this into the store. So inner component, we can use we can basically grab the store. So let's figure out what this is going to be. This is going to be let equals use. So previously it was use state to get access to like the internal component state, but I want the global store. So I'm going to do use store, which is going to be part of the Udux prelude use store. I have to tell it which store it is. So in this case, this is the app store. Sorry, app state. And then you're going to give me access to the store and the what is it called? It's the dispatch. So I want to update things. So that's going to be the dispatch that I want. So store is reading it, dispatch is updating it. So I already have this as, oh, I don't have this as a block. So we need this as a block because, I mean, I can move the dispatch in. I just can't use it anywhere else again. So that, I guess that's okay for right now. So we'll move. This is going to be a double move. That's not going to work. So we have to do let our dispatch equals dispatch, clone you in here. Once I've moved it into this closure, now we're going to move it into this closure. And then there's no other closures to move into, so I can just go ahead and move it here. So we're going to do a dispatch. And then we have our reduce, the reduce function. So this is very similar to Redux at this point in time, but it feels a little bit easier, at least from when I used Redux. It has been a few years, so maybe they made it, maybe they like simplified it. So I want to do, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I can do in here. We already have the data for this, so I don't need it to be a feature. I don't need a callback or anything of that. I probably just want a reduce mute, and that's it. So that's going to give me a function here, where rather a closure here where I get the state, and then we get to update it. And this state is a mutable reference to the state. And so I just want to stuff this post that we have into the state, or I want to append it. I want to add it to that vector. So we're going to do, going to move you in here, and we're going to do a state. We want our posts. That's a vector. Let's do, can I do it like a prepend? Oh, I can do an insert. Let's insert into the top, right? So it's at the very, like the beginning is where it is. We'll insert index 0, and we'll throw in a post. Oh, but that won't work, right? Because that's the wrong. No, that is exactly what I want. That's the right type of post. Okay. We do that, and there we go. We have now inserted in the post. Now I can choose, I can like take all of these posts here in the store, and pass it to all posts, or I can just grab that from all posts. I've seen arguments for both sides to just do prop drilling down. A lot of people who use React really hate prop drilling. Never really understood the hate for it. It can make it easier to sort of track where things are going. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that sometimes. But also, most people are going to use it the way I'm going to show you now. So I might as well just show you the way that most people want to use it and how it's coming from React. Okay, so here's all posts. So we need we need a post here, which means I need the store. So we're going to have our store, and I don't need the dispatch. So we're going to use store. This is the app store, app state. Keep on forgetting that I called it app state. For that store, I want to now hand it. Well, I don't have like which one to hand it, right? So we need to actually loop through and create, like, call BB post for every single one. So we're going to need to loop through this and say, see, we have a couple different choices here. Let's do a store dot posts. So there's our vector. So I'm going to get an iter off this. I don't need to own this. We're going to map. We're going to get a post, and I want to, we're passing in what that post is, which is going to be fine. I want to then render. So do HTML. I want to render this BB post here. Let's see, we're going to render the BB post. That'll be fine. And then I need to collect this into HTML. So we'll collect you into a vnode. Oh, good. Thank you, Bimero, for the time check. I was getting into flow. Let's see. Do I want to put it? I think I want to put it into HTML. Yeah. And then post. Oh, and so instead of test post, it's the post itself. You are upset, implicit. Oh, I need to clone this, don't I? So we'll clone you, put you out there. Okay, that's fine. We don't need this test post anymore. We have the actual post we've created. This is good. So now when I do this, that shows up right there, which is cool. Now, if I hit refresh, it's gone because it's only ones when I'm creating the post that it shows up there, which is okay for now, but it's a thing. Are the clones a performance issue in this case, or is it normal? So in this specific case, it can actually become a performance issue because I am cloning that like one specific post, and then potentially like I'm cloning out of the store over and over and over again. I could figure out a way to not do that. Cloning in web development and the front end is pretty bad. Like it happens a lot. So like we're doing it all the time in JavaScript when we're doing this. We just don't realize we're having to do that over and over and over again, especially when we're using something like Redux. So it's one of those, like, it's not really a good answer to say something like, oh yeah, it's just as bad as JavaScript, because that's kind of what we're trying to get away from, right? We are using so it's not good. We're still faster, but we are using more memory than we need to. There are some things that we can potentially do to sort of clean that up. I think that will be out of scope for what we're doing here, though. But basically, I can do things like I can say like, okay, here's like, I'm just going to pass you the ID. You go straight to the store and just like get things out because like the attribute values are clonable and those are cheap. And if I put every piece of data in attribute value, I can do that. Would you normally clean it up before going to prod? It depends. So I would probably not worry about cleaning it all up until I have enough users using it that it starts to become a problem. So I usually wait until like there's any like incentive to do it, and then I do that, because oftentimes the way that you fix this is going to be on how it's going to be used or how you're going to update it. Otherwise, you might apply a refactor that hurts it and actually makes it worse, which is very easy to do in front end code. No wonder you're not a front end fan. It's surprisingly easy to, like, front end is surprisingly hard. It's one of those things where the coding, like what you need to do and what you need to keep in mind, are vastly different than code in like the back end. So there's just two different domains. And if you're a full stack developer, because you're literally the only developer for the company, you need to understand both sides and like repercussions about different things. You're most interested in how you can use Rust in data engineering, but all that stuff is very interesting. The problem, and you may have run into this, the problem with like any kind of engineering is that you need a front end at some point in time. Like at some point in time, you need to display the data. And that's where web is just so much better at it than many other things, because web is portable. Like you can use a website on any operating system, on any device. It's the same code base and it just works. That also makes it hard. Also, like you've got really low amount of data that you're potentially working with. Like if you have like a lot of cell phone stuff, you might need to worry about that. So it's a thing. Good web engineers have like learned this lesson the hard way a long time ago. All right, well, as you mentioned, it was a time check 15 minutes ago. My watch just told me that my stand-up is coming up in 15 minutes. So I'm going to have to jump off to go do that. That being said, I will be back later today for some coding game. We are playing the Mad Pod Race. It's all in Rust still, so like more Rust. That's more like a fun game dev type challenge stuff that we're working on. So if you're only interested in the web dev, I'll be back tomorrow morning at around 7 a.m. Mountain Time to continue with this project. Otherwise, later today we'll be working on fun Rust stuff. And let's go ahead and set up a raid for Kuviman. Kuviman is streaming Advent of Code in Rust. Let's raid Kuviman. All right, good. Got all the information. I think we're good to go. So let's go ahead and set that up. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I will see you all next time. Bye.